In part 1, we saw that Jiwoo's life changed forever after her gangster father was murdered right in front of her by a mysterious masked killer. Determined to take revenge, she joined Choi's criminal organization and trained herself into a fearless fighter. Later, Choi gave her a new identity and sent her undercover into the police force to uncover her father's killer. By the end of part 1, Jiwoo found herself trapped between the police and the criminal world, while a deadly gang war was about to begin. Now let's see what happens next. Jiwoo sets off on her bike to uncover the truth behind her father's death. Meanwhile, Taeju gets into his car and finds a letter along with a package containing a new drug. Without realizing it, he has fallen into a trap carefully planned by the chief. Jiwoo arrives at the location where the chief is hiding. From a distance, she notices a man secretly taking photos of the chief. She enters the building to find him, but Pil-do suddenly appears. Jiwoo tries to escape, but Pil-do blocks her path and demands to know who she is. A fierce fight breaks out between them. Despite the struggle, Jiwoo manages to escape. At the same time, Taeju also arrives near the chief's hideout. As Jiwoo rides away on her bike, Taeju notices her passing by. A little later, Pil-do shows the chief a photo of the mysterious biker. The chief immediately suspects that the girl is Jiwoo, because ever since she joined the department, every one of their missions has been failing. He orders Pil-do to keep a close eye on her. After returning home, Jiwoo calls Choi and tells him that Taeju was meeting with the chief. Just then, Taeju arrives at Choi's office. However, Choi has completely lost trust in him and tells him to leave. When Taeju sits in his car and reads the letter, it says, "If you want to know Gangja's whereabouts, come to this address." The letter is actually part of the chief's plan to make both gangs turn against each other. Meanwhile, the chief gives Jiwoo's file to Pil-do so he can learn more about her. After reading it, Pil-do discovers that all the information inside is fake. Meanwhile, Jiwoo treats the wounds she received during her fight with Pil-do. The next morning, she trains intensely to stay in peak condition. She also takes out the knife Choi had given her. Later, she visits the forensic lab to trace the serial number of the pistol. Although she identifies the registered owner, she still doesn't know who he really was. After digging deeper, she learns that the pistol belonged to a man named Jun-soo. She immediately goes to the chief and asks, "I found out this gun belonged to Jun-soo. Who is he?" At the same time, she secretly grips her knife, ready to kill the chief if he admits the gun was his. The chief calmly explains that Jun-soo was a veteran police officer who was killed during his very first month on duty. He also claims that Choi was the one who killed him. Hearing this, Jiwoo rushes to Choi and asks, "Did you really kill Jun-soo?" Choi firmly denies the accusation. He says, "I don't know any Jun-soo, and we've never killed a police officer. The chief is lying to you. Don't trust him." Meanwhile, Gangja meets Mango at a casino. There he watches CCTV footage showing Jiwoo defeating multiple security guards by herself. Gangja instantly recognizes her and bursts into laughter as old memories come flooding back. The next day, Pil-do invites Jiwoo to lunch. She refuses, saying she has something important to do. Suspicious of her, Pil-do secretly follows her. Jiwoo is actually keeping an eye on Mango and Gangja. She pretends to be a drug buyer to get closer to them. She arrives at a garage, but Pil-do suddenly gets into her car, startling her. He asks what she's doing there. Jiwoo quickly changes the subject and says, "I'm watching Mango because he's distributing a new drug, and no one in our department is investigating it." Pil-do replies, "You can't handle this alone. From now on, I'm joining this mission." A few moments later, they see Mango driving away. The two officers follow him to an abandoned factory. They quietly sneak inside and witness Gangja delivering a fresh shipment of drugs to Mango. Both of them are surprised because Gangja has come without any of his usual bodyguards. Suddenly, Gangja turns around and points directly at them. It becomes clear that he knew they had been hiding there the entire time. Moments later, his men surround Pil-do and Jiwoo before launching a deadly attack. At first, the two officers fight back bravely and manage to take down several attackers. However, the enemies greatly outnumber them. During the battle, Pil-do falls from the upper floor, leaving Jiwoo to fight alone. Overwhelmed by the large group, she is eventually defeated. Gangja is delighted to see Jiwoo again because they share a long history of rivalry. With a cruel smile, he says, "I'm so happy to see you again." Meanwhile, Choi is sitting at one of his favorite restaurants when he notices someone secretly watching him from the back. He asks the restaurant owner to bring him a pack of cigarettes. Using the distraction, he suddenly attacks the men hiding nearby. He defeats them with incredible fighting skills. However, one of them manages to stab Choi. Ignoring the pain, Choi realizes they are all members of Gangja's gang. Back at the factory, Jiwoo begs Gangja to untie her hands so they can fight fairly. Gangja ignores her request and stabs her in the leg instead. Smiling cruelly, he says, "I enjoy watching you suffer." He then calls his men and asks, "Did you kill Choi?" To his surprise, Choi answers the phone himself. Gangja takes a photo of Jiwoo's injured face and sends it to Choi. He says, "If you want to see her alive, come here quickly." Jiwoo pleads with Gangja to let Pil-do go. Gangja mocks her and tells her to worry about herself first. Finally, he orders his men to tie both of them to a car and send the vehicle into a massive car crusher, intending to crush them alive. Terrified, Jiwoo and Pil-do desperately try to free themselves. Meanwhile, Gangja escapes as the car is pulled toward the crusher. With only seconds remaining, Choi arrives just in time and shuts the machine down. Since Pil-do is trapped inside the car, he never gets a clear look at Choi's face. At that moment, the sound of approaching police sirens echoes through the area. Hearing them, Choi immediately escapes. The police arrive and rescue both Jiwoo and Pildu. However, Jiwoo loses consciousness because of severe blood loss. Later, Taeju asks Choi, "Why didn't you take me with you when you went to save Jiwoo?" Choi looks at him and replies, "Can I really trust you?" Taeju is left completely stunned. Meanwhile, Chief Chagi arrives at the hospital and angrily scolds Pildu. He says, "You should never have gone on a mission without my permission." Pildu replies, "Sir, I'm now completely convinced that Jiwoo is not a spy." He then walks over to Jiwoo, who is still unconscious. In her sleep, she dreams about her father and trembles in fear. Pildu gently comforts her. He then shares a painful story from his past. "I once had a younger sister. One night at a nightclub, a gangster secretly drugged her drink. She had a weak heart and died because of it. That's why I joined the narcotics department. I want to catch every criminal involved in drugs because one of them might be responsible for my sister's death. I believe you're also seeking revenge against someone. I'll help you, and together we'll catch the person you're after." Later, Pildu brings Jiwoo a new set of clothes. After she is discharged from the hospital, he takes her to have lunch with the other officers. Meanwhile, Taeju secretly photographs them and informs Choi that Jiwoo has been released. Choi arranges a fake passport for Jiwoo. He also has a flight ticket prepared so she can leave the country. He wants her to disappear because if Gangja is captured, he could reveal her true identity. Choi calls Jiwoo and orders her to leave the country immediately. Jiwoo refuses. She says, "My mission isn't over yet, and don't worry about Gangja. I'll deal with him myself." After hanging up, she quietly looks at her father's ashes. Meanwhile, Chief Chagi orders one of his officers to retrieve Jiwoo's recent phone records. A few days later, Jiwoo returns to duty. Pildu tells her that every officer has now been ordered to carry a weapon at all times. Just then, Inspector Roman arrives. He is the same officer who had been watching Jiwoo outside the school. He recognizes her immediately. However, instead of exposing her, he tells Chief Chagi, "Jiwoo and I work together in the Violent Crimes Unit." Jiwoo becomes nervous, fearing he might reveal the truth later. Outside the building, she confronts him and asks, "Why did you lie?" Roman smiles and says, "I'm enjoying watching your game. What would I gain by exposing you? But I do have something important to tell you. The person who closed your father's case was Chief Chagi. He may also be the one behind your father's murder." After wishing her good luck, Roman walks away. That night, Roman meets Choi. He asks, "What's your relationship with Jiwoo?" Choi calmly replies, "I'm only helping her." Roman demands a large bribe to keep the secret. However, Choi refuses to be threatened. He signals his men. They immediately strangle Roman to death and dump his body into the water. Meanwhile, Jiwoo meets Mango at the casino. She threatens him, saying, "I can arrest you right now for helping Gangja attack me. Or I can tell Choi that you were behind the attack on the training camp." Terrified by Choi's name, Mango agrees to tell her everything he knows. Jiwoo passes all the information to Choi. She tells him that Gangja is planning to escape the country by sea. Choi immediately prepares a trap to stop him before he can escape. The following day, Chief Chagi receives a phone call from Gangja. Gangja offers him a deal. "I'll help you capture Choi. In return, you'll help me escape. I'm sending you the location where Choi and his men are planning to attack me." Meanwhile, Choi prepares for the operation. Before leaving, he orders Taeju to stay at the office. He says, "If anything happens to me, you'll take over this gang." Gangja arrives at the port where his escape boat is waiting. Unknown to him, the police are already hiding nearby. A short time later, Choi and his men arrive in several vehicles. Gangja and his gang step forward. A brutal and bloody battle quickly erupts between the two rival gangs. Chief Chagi orders his officers, "No one will interfere. Let these criminals destroy each other." Meanwhile, Choi and Gangja finally confront each other face to face. An intense knife fight begins. At the same time, the police move in to arrest everyone involved. Jiwoo also arrives at the scene. She sees Choi chasing Gangja. The two continue exchanging vicious knife attacks. Eventually, Choi stabs Gangja several times, forcing him to collapse. Believing the fight is over, Choi lets his guard down. Suddenly, Gangja strikes back and stabs Choi. Choi cries out in pain and falls to the ground. Just then, Jiwoo rushes over and points her gun at Gangja. She orders him not to move or she will shoot. She then tells Choi to escape immediately. Despite being badly injured, Choi manages to flee. Jiwoo hesitates, unable to pull the trigger. At that moment, Pildu arrives. Gangja threatens Jiwoo by saying he will reveal that she works for Choi. Just as he is about to expose her secret, Jiwoo reacts instantly and shoots him before he can say another word. As Choi tries to escape, Chief Chagi blocks his path. Just then, Choi's men arrive with a car and help him escape. It is revealed that Taeju was the one who saved Choi's life. After reaching a safe place, Choi tells Taeju, "Leave me here. Go now and I'll manage on my own." Choi then makes his way to a remote monastery. The Buddhist monks shelter him and begin treating his injuries. Meanwhile, Jiwoo is deeply shaken because it was the first time she had ever killed someone. Whenever she falls asleep, she is haunted by nightmares. In every dream, dream. Gangja appears behind her and tries to strangle her. After waking from another nightmare, Pildu comes to visit her. He brings her some food, hoping it will comfort her. Understanding what she is going through, he says, "Our job requires us to keep a calm mind. Take some time for yourself and do something that makes you happy." Jiwoo quietly replies, "I like sitting by the beach." Pildu smiles and says, "Then one day we'll go there together." Jiwoo assures him, "Don't worry, I'll be fine." However, Pildu says, "I know you and Gangja knew each other before. I heard the conversation between you two at the factory." Trying to hide the truth, Jiwoo replies, "A long time ago, Gangja tried to harass me." While talking, Jiwoo slowly falls asleep in front of Pildu. Seeing that she finally looks peaceful, Pildu quietly leaves without waking her. A few days later, Choi regains consciousness. The monks are amazed that he survived such severe injuries through sheer determination. Meanwhile, Chief Chagi orders his officers to search every hospital because he believes Choi must be receiving treatment somewhere. Despite all their efforts, they fail to find him. Soon, an unexpected twist changes everything. Someone secretly leaves an envelope at Jiwoo's doorstep. When she opens it, she is completely stunned. Inside is an old photograph of her father wearing a police uniform. Her biggest shock comes when she reads the name on the photo. It says Junsu. This is the same name the chief had mentioned earlier, claiming the officer died during his first month of service. Just then, Choi calls Jiwoo and asks her to meet him. She immediately goes to the monastery where he is recovering. Choi says, "It's been a long time since I was injured like this. I had almost forgotten what pain feels like." Jiwoo shows him the photograph and asks, "Was my father really a police officer?" Choi finally reveals the truth. "Yes, he was. Chief Chagi sent your father undercover to destroy me and my gang. But everything changed. Your father eventually left the police and chose to stand with us. He even saved my life." Choi then takes Jiwoo inside and shares memories of her father. "I used to notice him disappearing without telling anyone. At first, I thought he was secretly meeting another woman. So one day I followed him. That's when I discovered he was secretly visiting you." Jiwoo is left speechless because she never even knew her father's real name. She asks, "Why didn't you tell me all of this before?" Choi replies, "Because I wanted you to discover the truth yourself." He then reveals the identity of her father's killer. He says, "Chief Chagi couldn't accept your father's betrayal, so he murdered him." Hearing this, Jiwoo is completely devastated. From that moment on, she decides to kill Chief Chagi. Meanwhile, Pildu also continues searching for Choi. He reaches the same monastery and shows one of the monks Choi's photograph. The monk calmly denies ever seeing him. At the same time, Chief Chagi sits alone at home drinking heavily. He is furious that Choi is still missing. Pildu reassures him by saying, "We'll catch him soon." Meanwhile, Choi contacts Taeju. He orders him to assassinate Chief Chagi. He believes Jiwoo won't be able to do it by herself. Taeju agrees. He enters the chief's security room and disables all the CCTV cameras. Soon afterward, Pildu arrives to escort the drunken chief home. Pildu wants to stay with him. However, the chief insists that he leave and lies down on the sofa. Just after Pildu leaves, Jiwoo arrives outside the house. Before she can enter, Taeju attacks the chief with a knife. The chief fights back using a broken piece of glass. A violent struggle follows. Although the chief is badly wounded, Taeju manages to escape. Moments later, Jiwoo notices blood on the doorknob as she enters the house. Inside, the injured chief suddenly fires a gun at her. At the same time, Pildu hears the gunshot while leaving the area and rushes back. As soon as the chief sees Jiwoo, he realizes that Choi's undercover agent has been Jiwoo all along. Jiwoo points a knife at him and shouts, "I did all of this to find my father's killer. Tell me the truth. Did you murder him because he betrayed you?" The chief finally realizes that Jiwoo is Junsu's daughter. Barely able to breathe, he says, "How did you end up with a devil like Choi? Choi is the real devil." Just then, Pildu starts banging on the door. With his final strength, the chief hands Jiwoo a sealed envelope. Jiwoo immediately escapes through the window. Pildu breaks the door open and is devastated to find the chief dying. Even with his final breath, the chief refuses to reveal the truth about Jiwoo. Jiwoo gets into her car and opens the envelope. Inside, she finds several old photographs and a lighter that Choi always carried. She then realizes that the lighter had originally been a gift from her father, Junsu. However, Choi discovers that a tracking device was hidden inside the lighter. He is devastated and realizes that Junsu had secretly continued working undercover for the police. Jiwoo also finds several letters written by her father and addressed to Chief Chagi. One of the letters reveals that Junsu planned to visit his daughter on the very day he was murdered. At that same moment, Taeju had informed Choi about everything. After learning the truth, Choi personally hunted Junsu down and killed him. Jiwoo then finds another letter that was written specifically for her. Before she can finish reading it, police officers and an ambulance arrive at the scene, forcing her to flee. In the letter, Junsu writes, "Life is difficult, but I've always wanted to protect you. If you ever feel lost or lonely, talk to me. Never hide your pain from me. I wish I could spend more time with you and one day watch your children grow up, but I don't know how much time I have left. Even if I die tomorrow, I want you to live a beautiful and happy life. I'm sorry I couldn't be the father you deserved." Reading those words completely shatters Jiwoo. She remembers every lie Choi ever told her. She realizes he manipulated her from the very beginning, even lying about who her father's real killer was. The painful betrayal leaves her in tears. Consumed by anger, she takes a lighter and burns the gang tattoo on her chest, erasing the symbol of her past. Meanwhile, Chief Chagi is rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. Jiwoo arrives there and asks Pildu about his condition. Pildu Pildu explains, "The chief was drunk, so I dropped him off at home. Someone attacked him, and I'm certain Choi is behind it." During the confrontation, Jiwoo's hand was wounded by the chief's gunshot, but she carefully hides the injury. A short while later, the doctor announces that the operation was successful and the chief survived. Meanwhile, Taeju calls Choi and informs him that the chief is still alive. He also tells him that Jiwoo was at the crime scene and has probably learned the truth. Jiwoo then contacts Choi. She warns him that the police are searching for him after Gangja's death and tells him not to leave his hiding place. However, Choi no longer trusts her. Ignoring her warning, he leaves. Meanwhile, Jiwoo packs her belongings and prepares to leave. Suddenly, 3 of Taeju's men surround her and try to strangle her. Jiwoo fights back with everything she has. After a brutal battle, she kills all 3 attackers. The moment she steps outside, Taeju arrives to kill her himself. Jiwoo quickly hides. Taeju taunts her by saying, "How does it feel to know we used you? And how does it feel to know you're the daughter of a traitor?" Jiwoo finally confronts him. To provoke her further, Taeju repeatedly reminds her that Choi murdered her father. An intense knife fight breaks out between them. Jiwoo suffers several injuries but refuses to surrender. She stabs Taeju multiple times in the leg. In the end, she kills him. Meanwhile, at the police station, officers receive information about Choi's location. Before they can launch an operation, Choi unexpectedly surrenders himself. Pildu immediately messages Jiwoo and asks her to come to the station. During the interrogation, Pildu questions Choi about the murders and his criminal organization. Choi simply laughs. He says, "There are only 2 kinds of people in this world, those who kill and those who die. And I have no intention of dying." Pildu angrily replies, "So you sold drugs and murdered innocent people just to survive. You can think about that from inside a prison cell." Choi only smiles in response. A few moments later, his lawyer arrives. Jiwoo enters the interrogation room and asks Choi, "Why did you surrender?" Choi calmly replies, "I've come here to prove my innocence. I didn't kill Gangja." Jiwoo answers confidently, "You think your spy can save you, but you're wrong. I saw you kill Gangja with my own eyes. We also have the murder weapon with your fingerprints on it. Your game is over. You'll be behind bars within an hour." After saying that, she leaves the room. Jiwoo then goes to the evidence room. Using the investigation as an excuse, she collects all the evidence related to Gangja's case and leaves with it. Meanwhile, the police examine the vehicle seen in the CCTV footage. They discover it is a police car assigned to Jiwoo. Pildu then checks Jiwoo's phone records. To his shock, he finds that she has spoken with Choi several times. Just then, Jiwoo calls Choi and says, "I've destroyed all the evidence. You're innocent now." Pildu reviews CCTV footage from behind the chief's house. He realizes that Jiwoo was the one who attacked the chief. He immediately orders all officers to stop her from leaving the building. However, Jiwoo secretly slips away and escapes on her motorcycle. With no evidence left against him, Choi is released from custody. The entire police department is furious. Pildu is heartbroken because he trusted Jiwoo, only to believe she had deceived everyone. While riding away, Jiwoo stops near a river and throws the knife covered with Gangja's blood into the water. Later, Choi finds Taeju's dead body. He immediately realizes that Jiwoo only helped him escape so she could take revenge on him herself. He notices that Taeju was killed with the same knife he had once given him as a child. Overcome with grief, Choi tells his men, "Don't waste time searching for Jiwoo. She'll come to me on her own. Her only purpose now is revenge." He then burns the photograph of the house he had once planned to give Jiwoo. Meanwhile, Pildu receives a call from headquarters. He is informed that Jiwoo's fingerprints do not exist anywhere in the official police records. The police arrive at Jiwoo's house, but everything has been cleared out. Pildu notices that the urn containing her father's ashes is missing. He realizes that Jiwoo has probably gone to her father's grave. Standing before the grave, Jiwoo breaks down in tears. She says, "Father, if I had known the truth sooner, I would have loved you even more. I would never have left your side. Now you'll see how I bring this story to its end." After saying those words, she rides away on her motorcycle. Moments later, Pildu appears and begins chasing her. Jiwoo leaves the road and races into an open field. Because of the rough ground, her motorcycle skids and she falls. Pildu catches up and stands in front of her. He fires a warning shot into the air and orders her to stop. Then he handcuffs her and places her under arrest. Back at the police station, everyone is shocked by Jiwoo's arrest. Some officers are so furious that they nearly attack her. The entire department is heartbroken because they once trusted her completely. Meanwhile, Choi learns that Jiwoo has been arrested. He becomes determined to get her released at any cost. However, his lawyer explains that Jiwoo was caught on CCTV stealing evidence. Because of that, getting her out won't be easy. Enraged, Choi orders his lawyer to find another solution. Inside the jail, Pildu asks Jiwoo why she tried to kill Chief Chagi. Jiwoo calmly looks at him and says, "If I told you I didn't attack him, would you believe me? Only the chief can prove my innocence now." Pildu coldly replies, "I won't believe anything you say." The following day, Choi's lawyer visits Jiwoo in jail. He delivers a message from Choi, saying he will never allow her to remain remain behind bars. When the lawyer notices Jiwoo's injuries, he demands that Pildu transfer her to a hospital. Pildu refuses. The lawyer then threatens him, "If you don't send Jiwoo to the hospital, I'll tell the media that Choi has an informant inside the police department." To avoid a public scandal, Pildu reluctantly agrees. He personally escorts Jiwoo to the hospital. The lawyer immediately informs Choi about the transfer. Choi then sends his men to kidnap Jiwoo. While Jiwoo is receiving treatment, the nurse recognizes her. She is the same woman Jiwoo rescued during her very first mission. Meanwhile, Pildu goes to meet Chief Chagi. The chief finally reveals the truth. "Pildu, Jiwoo didn't attack me. It was Choi. 5 years ago, I sent Junsu, Jiwoo's father, undercover. When Choi discovered the truth, he killed him. Jiwoo joined Choi only to avenge her father, but Choi betrayed her." Pildu is completely shaken after hearing the truth. He finally realizes that Jiwoo has been fighting for justice all along. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Jiwoo secretly unlocks her handcuffs. The nurse notices what she's doing. Instead of stopping her, she feels sympathy and hands Jiwoo the keys to her own car. Just as Jiwoo is about to escape, police officers arrive. She fights them off and manages to defeat them. Disguised in the nurse's uniform, she reaches the parking lot. There, Pildu stops her. He says, "I know the truth now. I can't let you go after Choi alone. He's too dangerous." Jiwoo bursts into tears. "I've spent my entire life chasing this revenge. If I don't kill him, my life will have no meaning." Unwilling to let her face Choi alone, Pildu handcuffs himself to her. As they argue, Choi's men arrive to abduct Jiwoo. Pildu and Jiwoo fight side by side. Together, they defeat the attackers. Afterward, they steal a car and escape. That night, they hide at a friend's beach house. Jiwoo's hand is still bleeding. Pildu carefully bandages the wound. He says, "From now on, you won't fight alone. I'll stay with you until the end." For the first time in a long while, Jiwoo feels comfort. The bond between them grows even stronger. Together, they make a plan to bring down Choi. Meanwhile, Choi's lawyer informs him that Chief Chagi has regained consciousness. The police are now closing in on them. He urges Choi to leave the country immediately, but Choi refuses. He says, "I'm waiting for Jiwoo. Our story isn't over yet." Taking out his gun, he declares, "Either she dies or I do." The next day, Pildu and Jiwoo are driving together. Pildu gently holds Jiwoo's hand and says, "No matter what happens, I'll stand by your side." Suddenly, Choi appears and opens fire on their car. Pildu is struck by the bullets. Pildu dies in Jiwoo's arms. Jiwoo is completely devastated. After losing her father, she has now lost the only person she truly trusted. She picks up Pildu's gun and heads straight for Choi's hideout. Consumed by grief and rage, Jiwoo storms into the building. Anyone who stands in her way is taken down without mercy. Driven by revenge, she fights through Choi's men one by one. Meanwhile, Choi waits calmly for her upstairs. After defeating every guard with her knife, Jiwoo finally reaches his room. She opens the door. Looking at her, Choi says, "Your father was too weak to kill me, but you're different. If you truly have the courage, then kill me." Without saying a word, Jiwoo charges at him. A brutal knife fight erupts. They slash and stab each other repeatedly. Both suffer serious injuries during the battle. Eventually, Choi knocks the knife out of Jiwoo's hand. He raises his weapon and prepares to finish her once and for all. With her last remaining strength, Jiwoo suddenly stabs Choi in the stomach. As he stumbles back, she picks up the fallen knife. Without hesitation, she drives it into Choi's neck. Choi collapses to the floor. Moments later, he dies, bringing his reign of terror to an end. At last, Jiwoo has defeated the man who destroyed her life. He was responsible for her father's death and for taking away Pildu, the person she cared about the most. Slowly, Jiwoo walks out of the blood-soaked room. In the final scene, she visits her father's grave and gently places flowers in front of it. After that, she goes to Pildu's grave and leaves flowers there as well. She quietly says her final goodbye before walking away. With that, this emotional and action-packed story comes to an end. Friends, if you enjoyed Jiwoo's unforgettable journey of revenge and this intense climax, don't forget to like the video. Let's see if we can reach the target of 10,000 likes on this video.